This is Triumph. This trick is called Triumph, and it's one of my favourite tricks to do for a spectator, just because it's so simple and so effective. So before I begin the trick, we've got a card in this card box here as a prediction, and we just first start off any good trick getting the spectator to pick a card. So to do this, we'll just riffle down the deck, and they'll shout stop whenever they want, because you're not here, I'll just do it. So stop, and we'll stay there. So now look at that card, and we'll put it back on the deck like so. Right, cut it in, shuffle it like so, cut it a few more times, and then we're going to do something called the Crazy Man Shuffle. Right, it's this. So it's basically where I take cards, I just turn them the other way around. And I take more cards, turn them like that, and more cards, like so. So now I've got cards face up, face down, face down, face up, face, face back to back, that kind of stuff. And all I need to do is put the deck in the spectator's hand, like this, all mine. And I'll say in their mind, just imagine all of those cards just turning the other way around. Just all of them turning back to where they were, except for one card and their card, and just repeat it over and over again in their mind. So now watch. Every single card. That's I'll show you like this. Every single card is face down, except from their chosen 8 of clubs. And if you remember, at the beginning of the trick, I made a prediction in this box. It was a card from a different deck. It's the only one in the box. There's no other card. The 8 of clubs. Boom. Right, so this trick, I believe, was created by Di Vernon, but correct me if I'm wrong. And it's really fun trick to do. Now, the one I showed you has a lot of flaws, because the original trick is designed at a table. I know it was at a table, I was just showing you a different version, but the original one's designed at a table, and it looks much more real, which I will probably do that video as well. But this one, it's better for a street environment, going up to somebody, showing them a magic trick. It's much better for that. If you don't have a table, it's perfect. And it's not my trick, but I've added a few little things, like the prediction. Adding a prediction adds that extra level. So I've done the trick, and they think that's it. So if I add something else after that, then boom, their mind's blown again. So they've done the trick. So their card has magically turned the wrong way round for the cards, even though I've shuffled all of them randomly, like so. Back to front, front to back, and it's their card, the one that remains. That's incredible. Set, and then obviously the next layer, if you want to the trick, is me being able to predict their card from the beginning before they even pick the card. So it's really quite an impossible and incredible trick. So it's got a few sleight of hand moves that aren't incredibly difficult. It's more about the way you perform it. See, in the performance, there was a few little slip-ups I made that I like to keep in, because you've got to know that magicians do make mistakes, and you've got to know how to get out of the mistakes if you're performing to a live audience. And so keeping slip-ups like that in your recordings is just a lot better. So yeah, I'll get into the different sleight of hand moves, and then we can get into the routine. Right, okay, so the first move we're going to learn is a force, okay? And this can be any force you want, but I do the riffle force, slip force, I think it's called something like that. But I've taught this one before on my channel, and it's just really easy. Okay, it's the easiest force, the best force you can do, in my opinion. Best, like, good for beginners, even advanced people use it. You want to get a chosen card, and you want to write it up. What I did in the performance was I put it in the box. I wouldn't recommend doing this. I'd just get either a phone, a notes app on somebody else's phone, so don't look like you're cheating. If not, use yours, or just a piece of paper and a pen. Write it down, like fold it up, get them to hold it, something like that. And it could be any card you want in the deck. So, for example, we'll just use the 3 of clubs. To do this slip force, what you're going to do is riffle down the deck. Whether they shout stop, lift up, and slide the top card, which is the predicted card, onto the bottom like that. And it may look really obvious if I do it slowly what you've done, right? So you want to do this fast. This bit can be slow, don't have to be like that. It can be really slow. They say stop, lift up, boom. And try to avoid catching it on your thumb like that, which I do quite often. They don't really notice, but if you do, it just makes it look a little bit more worse. So they've chosen the card. Now you need to control it. To control it to the top, all I do is a simple control, and you might have seen it in the video. Catch a pinky break here, and then just cut cards from that pinky break, like so. I'm exaggerating, by the way. It wouldn't be this big. And then this is the card. And you just put all of that on top. So you've got it to the top, and it looks convincing. That might not look convincing in the tutorial, but in the performance, I bet it did. Watch, 3 of clubs goes in the middle, like so. Just cut cards. Looks like you're really shuffling it, and then just add with an extra riffle shuffle, maintaining the card to the top. Just the extra. Now, I honestly don't know if this is the way to do it, but this is the way I do it, and I much prefer it. And you can do it a different way. There's a different tutorial out there, but I much prefer this. Just because I've gotten into it, it's probably the wrong way of doing it, but I prefer it. So all I do is I double undercut it to the bottom. This is where I get a thumb break on the top card, which is that card, and then I cut a portion off, move it to the bottom, let go of that thumb break, so that card is on the bottom of the deck now, and then move all these cards to the top. It just controls it to the bottom. So again, get thumb break to the bottom and to the top, keeping that card on the bottom. And now there's more in-depth tutorials on the double undercut, on the force, and all the controls and stuff, so feel free to use your own way. You don't have to use mine. For example, another way you could do is you could riffle shuffle it to the bottom, like so. Obviously not riffle shuffle it, overhand shuffle it. Don't show that you're doing it, do it the other way around like that, okay? Right, now you've got it to the bottom of the deck. You're going to do something, and you're going to say to the spectator, I'm going to do something called a crazy man shuffle, okay? This is, you're going to say this is where you take cards, like so, and you turn them the other way around. And you actually do that, okay? You actually take the cards and you turn them the other way around. And then once you've done that, you spread through all these face-up cards until you get to the last face-up card. You go past it a little bit, and then you turn all of these cards over again. You keep repeating that process. Go past it, and then turn them over. I'll do this about 5 times. And then I get to the bottom, but I don't flip over the bottom card, because that's that card, okay? I don't flip over. Now this is what I do. I take their card, catch it, like so with my thumb, and I just quickly move it to the top of the deck. Now you can double undercut it if you want to the top, but I just recommend really quickly catching quickly to the top like you're cutting cards, okay? They won't suspect a thing. I've done it every single time. As long as you're fast enough, you should get away with it, okay? Now, this is where things get a bit tricky if your deck of cards is really new. this is quite a new deck. But if you bend the cards by like giving them a bevel, then it'll be easier, right? So you might see there's a natural like a break here between the cards, and that's because that's where the face-up cards and face-down cards meet. What you want to do is you want to cut above that break and show face-up to face-down cards. Then you want to cut below the break and show say face-down to face-up. You want to say face-up to face-down, then face-down to face-up. It just confuses them more, right? Then you want to cut exactly on that break, and now it's easier than it looks, right? It's easier to do, just like so. I'm not holding any breaks, I just cut, and sometimes I might cut one like that, or even quite far off, but it should be easy enough just to cut that natural break, like so, right? To make this break a bit more like easier to cut to before you begin the deck, just bend the cards, okay? Not bend every single one individually, just bevel them by just pushing it on like that, right? And now I've managed to lose the break, but there we go. Cut to that. Once you've cut, take the top packet, because you know your card is on top, and just flip it over. Now what this does is this creates every single card face down, except from your card, which is face up. And that's it, boom, you're done. You're done, no more slides needed. From here, just make the presentation, okay? Just focus entirely on the presentation. That's all that matters. What I do personally, well, what I have done before is I put it in the box, and then I say, this is a magical box, it does whatever. But what I like to do now is I like to put it in a spectator's hand. Get them kind of like a mentalism, right? Get them thinking of them doing it, right? Turning the cards over in their head, except from their card, okay? And that's what I showed in the performance. That's what I like to do. And then I'll let them spread through the deck themselves. It just adds more realism, okay? Then once they spread through and they can see, oh wow, my card's is the only one that's face up. This is where you introduce them again to the prediction you made at the beginning, and you say, right, do you remember anything from the beginning? Let them think. If they don't, then say, do you remember I made a prediction? If they say, oh yeah, you made a prediction, you say, wouldn't it be really cool if? And you can say, wouldn't it be really cool if that was your card, or you could just leave it as that. It just adds, they know what's going to happen, but they don't believe it's going to happen. So it just kind of adds more suspension, and then a better build-up, a better reveal. And then you show them the prediction, and their mind is blown, and that's it. Boom. Now, if this video reaches, let's say, let's start small, let's say 15 likes, okay? If it reaches 15 likes, I will make the table performance and tutorial, the table version, which I think is much more fooling. I prefer doing this one now because it's easier and more simple to do out in the streets and just a normal environment. But if you've got a proper table, proper audience, it's way more fooling, way more fun. Easy, harder sleight of hand to do, but it does pay off because it's a lot better. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I would appreciate it if you left your thoughts in the comment section about this trick, and drop a subscribe and a like. Yeah, see you in the next one.